Hey everyone, I have read your discussion board posts and posted feedback in the rubric on Blackboard for your review. This is a discussion board that can get unwieldy really quick if you are not paying attention to the key topics. It feels like being asked to look at the role of advocacy as well as the essentials of will, but there's really they're two very different terms, and sometimes students get to where they just wander in their topic and are not writing concisely. The vast majority of you did a really nice job addressing all the key concepts in your discussion boards. Your classmate James did a really nice job touching base with the concept of what Christian nurse leadership and advocacy look like. James read in his primary discussion board that advocating for others is one of the most selfless acts, which help define Christian nurse leaders as an authentic, genuine leader. Grounded principles and sound judgment guide all of what is not only said, but meant, not only what is done, but what is intended. The most generous principle extends even further that every human being has a claim upon our kind office from whom no contention should ever exist. We need to save that noble contention, or rather emulate what makes Christian nurse leaders stand out from the rest. There is no doubt that advocacy is the perfection of all the standards, or virtue as defined in the scope and standards of practice, as the protection of rights of an individual patient, family, communities, healthcare providers, and institutions who serve them are critical to the nursing profession. Furthermore, nurse leaders need to fully embrace the importance of healthy work environments, live out its principles, and engage others. Historically, nurse leaders have been given very little preparation and education in authentic leadership, partly because it cannot be taught but emphasized as a tenet of an effective leader. Just as mentioned by James, chapter 2, verses 8 through 12, we dare not show favoritism and stand guard towards justice for all, as mercy triumphs over judgment, as we are to love our neighbors as ourselves. I read this, and I don't know why, but my first thought was James in a coat of armor. It's such a bold statement. It is such a powerful way to call us to action, to empower us to step up into our role of advocacy as not only nurse leaders, but Christian nurse leaders, and how we really are called to step into that role boldly. I thought James's wording for this was just so eloquent and so well put. It was very impressive. So I hope you enjoyed hearing that. Truly, lots of insight there. The discussion board, again, I think it's one of those that really kind of make you pause and think, and my hope is that you have been able to reflect on advocacy and the meaning that has in your professional role, and how you can bolster that as you move forward in a leadership position. Your work next week is going to be the synthesis of your topics from Porter, O'Grady, and Malik, and O'Brien. So it's your spiritual philosophy paper. I think I've mentioned some of this in the weekly intro, but I want to remind you that what you are being asked to do is synthesize the key concepts from both of these authors' work and find the similarities and the differences. You would not be using your time wisely by spending the first half of your paper defining the key concepts that you're finding in your reading. You want to briefly introduce them, give a general synopsis, but then you really want to focus your paper on comparing and contrasting. Comparing, that means finding similarities; contrasting, finding differences, and being able to explore those topics thoroughly. You should follow the rubric carefully, make sure that you are addressing all the key concepts and key points that are in the rubric. In this paper, you should be using level 1, 2, and 3 headings. All 3 of those headings should be in this paper if you have organized it well. You should also be using a combined in-text citation using APA formatting. So, the primary time that you'll see combined in-text citations is when multiple authors of different works agree on the same key point. So how you'd see this is in your section of similarities, you would be able to say, use a combined in-text citation, which, let's say, you find a key concept that Porter, Malik, and O'Brien agree on. So you're going to write that fact, and you're going to say these authors agree on this key concept, and in parentheses, instead of just a single in-text citation, you'll put O'Brien and the date, semicolon, and then Porter, O'Grady, and Malik, the date, and the close in parentheses. That's a combined in-text citation. You have your APA resources, so review the exact formatting where all your where all of your punctuation goes, and make sure that you're using that effectively in your final paper. This should be a polished paper that reflects a good synthesis of your key concepts and professional APA use. So I'm looking forward to reading your papers. You also remember you want to wrap up your practicum logs, apply feedback from log 1 and log 2 into log 3, and you want to make sure your time log is correct. If your time log is not accurate, a final grade cannot be posted for your course. Your evaluations that are going to be sent from Typhon need to be completed, or you cannot have a grade posted for your course. It is also your responsibility to check with your preceptor and make sure that they've completed your student evaluation so that that can be posted in Typhon. All this stuff comes automatically to me, so you don't need to do anything once you've completed the surveys. Okay. Oh, and your course evaluation. Please do your course evaluation. I value your feedback. My hope is that, you know, if there are things that have not gone well, that you've reached out to me and we've worked through those things. If there are things that have gone well, I hope you feel like you've had the opportunity to talk about those as well. The course evaluation is a systematic way of you providing a comprehensive feedback on the course. I value it. So I would appreciate if you would take the time after you've done the umpteenth other evaluations. Please do your course evaluation. I will not be sending you a feedback video from week 8, primarily because you're already going to be tapping out because you're going to be starting, many of you will be starting 625. And I found that most people just don't watch the last video. So I will send you an email. I'll let you know that your course grades have been posted and that your and when your other grades will be posted in the system as a final grade. If you have questions or concerns, reply back to me. Let's talk through any issues before final grades are posted. Just make sure you're paying attention to your email this week. It's a pretty busy week, lots of email traffic, but you don't want to miss important communication. So, that is all of my notes, so I think I'm done. I hope you guys are having a great rest of the week. Know that Friday I will be on campus at Liberty, and its graduation is Saturday, so Friday's lots of activities and campus activities for our graduates. Know that it will be difficult for me to reply to emails on Friday. So there may be a delay. I will absolutely get back with you, but please don't wait until the last minute and email me in hopes that I'm going to respond. That may not happen as consistently as it usually does on Friday just because of the busyness of that day. So know that I'm here, know that I'm thinking about you, know that I'm praying for you. I hope you will wrap up your last week feeling good about the course and that your time has been well spent. It has certainly been well spent on my part. Y'all take care.